What's up, amazing people, amazing students, and all the lovers of chemistry out there? I'm super excited to be here with you on yet another episode on Question for Today. Now, we have a question on the screen that says, how many moles of hydrogen gas are produced when 12 grams of magnesium reacts with excess hydrochloric acid? So let's go ahead and solve this question step by step. Now, mere looking at this question tells us that this has to do with stoichiometry. And in most stoichiometrical questions, one thing you always need is a balanced chemical equation. Usually in questions like this, you'll be given the balanced chemical equation, but let's start it from the scratch. So the first thing we need is a balanced chemical equation. From this question, we're told that magnesium reacts with excess hydrochloric acid. So let's go ahead and write down that equation. Magnesium has the symbol of Mg reacting with hydrochloric acid HCl. And when magnesium reacts with hydrochloric acid, it produces magnesium chloride NgCl2 and hydrogen gas H2. So now that we've written the chemical equation, the next thing to check out is if the equation is balanced, because we cannot solve stoichiometrical questions correctly if we have an unbalanced chemical equation. So let's check out if this equation is balanced. For magnesium over here, we have one atom. And over here on the product side, we also have one atom. For hydrogen on the left-hand side, we have one atom. And for hydrogen over here on the right-hand side, we have two atoms, which shows that hydrogen is not balanced. So in order to balance hydrogen, we simply put the number 2 here, which makes hydrogen to now become 2 on both sides. So hydrogen is balanced. Now for chlorine, because of this coefficient of 2 which we just added, both hydrogen is 2 atoms and chlorine are also 2 atoms. And over here on the right hand side, you can see that chlorine is also 2 atoms. So our balanced chemical equation is Mg plus 2HCl, giving us NgCl2 plus H2. Now that we have our balanced chemical equation, let's go ahead and solve this question step by step. So from the question right now, we're told that how many moles of hydrogen gas are produced when 12 grams of magnesium reacts with excess hydrochloric acid. From this question, we have been told that hydrochloric acid is in excess. And if hydrochloric acid is in excess, it means that magnesium is limited. And under the topic of limiting and excess reactants, we know that the limiting reactant is the one that determines how much product that will be formed. So therefore, our focus is going to be on magnesium and on the product, which is hydrogen gas. So from the equation now, we have seen it that we have just 1 mole of magnesium over here, and then for hydrogen, we also have 1 mole of hydrogen. How do we know that is 1 mole? The coefficient of hydrogen over here is 1. We are not focusing on these 2. This 2 is the subscript, but the number that stands in front of hydrogen is the coefficient. So we have 1 mole of hydrogen and we have 1 mole of magnesium. So from the equation, 1 mole of magnesium yields 1 mole of hydrogen gas. So the question now says, how many moles of hydrogen gas are produced when 12 grams of magnesium reacts with excess hydrochloric acid? Now we've been given 12 grams of magnesium, but we want to convert that into moles so that we can impute it into this equation that we have over here. So now to convert grams or mass into moles, we have this formula that says number of moles is equal to mass divided by molar mass. So now we want to convert these 12 grams into number of moles. So number of moles N will now be equal to, what is the mass? We've been given 12 grams. 12 all over the molar mass of magnesium in this case is 24 0.31. So when we go ahead to say 12 divided by 24.31, what we end up having 12 divided by 24.31. So we end up having 0.494 moles of magnesium, Mg. So from the equation now, we have 1 mole of magnesium yielding 1 mole of hydrogen gas. So therefore, 0.494 moles of magnesium will now yield an unknown number of moles of hydrogen gas. I'm sure you're following how this is playing out. So if we cross multiply at this point, it now becomes x times 1 is equal to 0.494 times 1. So x is equal to 0.494 moles of hydrogen gas. And the question says, how many moles of hydrogen gas are produced? So, when 12 grams of magnesium reacts with excess hydrochloric acid, and we've just gotten our answer right here, 0.494 moles of hydrogen gas is produced. I'm sure you enjoyed every bit of this. Subscribe and follow for more updates on each question for the day. See you in the next video.